everybody, and welcome to video number 33 in my EFT series. And this video will follow onto the last video I made, which was about easing lockdown with EFT, which was about helping us with the fears and worries we might have about going back out there. And this time I have decided to do a video about fear of loss, as this was quite, a loss would have been happening to a lot of people during lockdown. There were people who lost their jobs and, like even loss of identity and things like that. And so I decided that it would be just the right topic for today's video. And as always, I would ask you to take responsibility for your own well-being while you are tapping along this video, and also would remind you to make sure that if you are using the face points, that your hands are clean and washed. If you cannot guarantee that, then I would ask you to avoid tapping on the face point. So just tap at the top of the head, on the on the fingers and on the collarbone, but just skip the other points and that will be fine. Okay, so as I said, the reason I've been kind of thinking about doing this video on the fear of loss was because during this lockdown, for a lot of us, there would be some kind of loss of something. I mean, I've been, for example, I've been very saddened when I found out that a lot of people who were preparing to sell plants, that these plants then they could not sell them, and so a lot of these plants had either to be donated or just destroyed. Or a lot of people in pubs say, well, we don't know whether we'll have to get rid of this beer, we'll just have to put it down the drain. So a lot of us, were experiencing losses, let alone talk about the loss of life, that so many of us would know at least somebody who would, or somebody else's family who would have lost a loved one due to the coronavirus. And it's also been very isolating and sad for us because we were actually not able to go and see or be there with our loved ones, in the hospital for fear of transmission of the virus. So I think this was just the right kind of topic of my video for today. And also, if we are feeling loss, we are not able to enjoy our life to the full. We are in the constant fight and flight, and it does not allow us to enjoy living our lives to the full. So some people are afraid of having things, because then they can lose them, or having relationships, because then they're worried that they might experience this loss. So it might be feeling safer for these people not to have relationship, but then at the same time they are denying themselves all the love and beauty of the relationship that they could enjoy actually with another. So even though I fear loss, it's so difficult to fear loss. I'm worried about losing a loved one, the fear of losing my job or my identity. I love and accept myself anyway. Even though I fear loss, I don't know how I would cope without. Just add whatever that is for you. I love and accept myself anyway. Even though I fear I might lose a loved one, I love and accept myself anyway. Okay, so just a reminder phrase, just fear of loss. And as you are tapping, keep tuning in to your body. Where is that in your body? this fear of loss. What does it look like, this fear of loss? Just describe it as best for you. This fear of loss. And I feel it like as butterflies in my stomach. This fear of loss. These butterflies in my stomach are so dark in my stomach. These butterflies in my stomach. I just feel this sickness in my stomach. These butterflies in my stomach. This sickness. Just feel sick. This fear of loss. Okay, so take a deep breath in. And I will often ask you before you start tapping to rate yourself. What is the intensity of that fear of loss? And just tune in and see what happened to that intensity. Actually, for me, the intensity went a bit up, and especially the feeling of the sickness, you know, has gone up. And so we would basically continue tapping on wherever that feeling is. And interestingly enough, as I was tidying up for, you know, the trampoline, and it all rained in the night, so I had to sweep up a bit, there was a little moth here, which, you know, I just was here. Obviously it was a moth because it didn't fly away. And I thought, well, maybe if I can keep it in the box to show you during this video about the fact that the butterfly or the moth you know, goes through all these stages when it becomes a chrysalis, and then it changes, and it's not scared of you know, being free and releasing itself from what no longer serves it. And I went to get a box in my house, just to thinking I'll keep that moth, and then as I'm doing the video I will release that moth for you. And as I was coming down here, the moth just actually was was ready to fly away. And yeah, I wasn't sure whether the moth still would be here or not. But as I went back home, I did find these butterflies, and so I thought, well, yeah, maybe that is a good idea for me to bring this over to kind of, because this would be kind of appropriate. And when I actually felt the butterflies in my stomach, and I still continue feeling them, I kind of didn't think, oh, actually that does me double the purpose, double the job. And so yeah, I mean, like, if I think of myself in my, you know, in my own family, there was a lot of history of loss of one parent or another during childhood. So for example, my grandmother, she lost her mother when she was only 10 during the Spanish flu pandemic. My father lost, you know, my father, my husband, my sister, my niece, they all lost one of their parents as they were still very young. And even though I was lucky, you know, that I had both my parents still, you know, I was at least in my early 20s, because my father did die when I was in my early 20s, that pattern is still kind of repeating itself, and we kind of get attracted to the people who would have had the same pattern. So there I was, being attracted to my husband, who actually had a, you know, sort of a similar experience as my father had, that both their fathers died as they were very, very young during their childhood. And so, you know, it could even be helpful to tap on these experiences, you know, and sometimes we are fearing loss because we don't want to let go of the past. and that is particularly relevant, for example, to hoarding. And I know I have done a couple of videos in the last few months about hoarding, and also I did put it as one of my intentions for the new year, and that is in my video from then as well. And you know, this particular memory comes up for me. It's memory about the fact that I wanted to keep a frock, but I was not allowed to, so I had to go and release this frock, like to make it free. And I was very upset because I wanted to hang on to this frog, and perhaps I then started to kind of hoard things, and I'm actually just starting to clear things, but it is a very difficult process. I do find it very difficult. Oh, what am I going to give away, and what am I going to keep? And you know, sometimes we can feel that there can be a lot of guilt. I mean, there could be an example, for example, of a person who, you know, there was a fire and they lost all their things, and there might have been their loved one who lost their lives in the fire, and that person might still, you know, that person might be feeling guilty. So there could be a lot of things associated with all that guilt, or forgiving yourself and forgiving of others. So it's good to tap on, you know, whatever it is in the past that you find it difficult to let go of. So the setup for that would be, even though I find it difficult to let go of the past, I love and accept myself anyway. Even though I struggle to let go of the past, I love and accept myself anyway. Even though I struggle to forgive myself and to forgive others, and I live with all this guilt, I love and accept myself anyway. So I can't let go of the past. I can't let go. I can't forgive. I can't forgive myself. But perhaps I can start to think I might let go. I might forgive myself. I forgive others. Letting go of the past. Letting go of all this guilt. I forgive myself. And I forgive others. I'm free. Free for a new change. Okay, so take a deep breath. Tune in to those feelings, whichever those feelings are for you. The feelings of the fear of loss, the feeling of guilt or shame, whichever it is for you. Now, after I tap this round, I can say that those butterflies in my stomach have now completely gone. So I have done a couple of videos on EFT about relationships and attracting love into our lives, and I do know cases of people who sadly, you know, lost their loved ones, and they blame themselves for that loss, and as a result they kind of became either very ill, or they, I do even know of cases of people who passed away because they were unable to live their lives to the full, and they kept they kept kind of blaming themselves. And that's why I really love EFT, because we can actually acknowledge, for example, the feelings of this guilt and let go and open up to the new possibility. When I did my counseling course and my hypnotherapy course, the company was called Chrysalis. And again, going back to these butterflies, they obviously chose the name right, because the chrysalis then changes into the butterfly and is free to enjoy the life it has, happy, and it doesn't worry about, the butterfly flies around happily collecting the nectar and enjoying the life to the full. It actually doesn't worry about the loss of the life it had before as a chrysalis. And so this can, as I said, particularly in our relationships, that if we live our lives in the fear of the loss, and we don't allow ourselves to enjoy the love and be opening to the love, because in order to, when I say we accept love, in order to give love to other people, we also need to be able to accept the love. So for example, my grandmother, who lost her mother in the Spanish flu pandemic, don't take me wrong, she was a lovely lady and I really loved her. She basically was looking after me when I was very young, but she was unable to accept love. She was unable to feel worthy of love. If somebody gave her a compliment, she would like, no, I don't want to hear. If she got a nice birthday present or a Christmas present, she said no, she would give it to somebody else. She didn't want to accept that. And even when it came to Christmas and other family celebrations and occasions, she would always be cooking, but she would never go and sit down, and she would never eat from a plate. She would always eat from the saucepans, because she felt, I do not deserve. And so I think it would be a nice way to round up this, tapping, with doing a bit of tapping for our self-worth, for love, and but keep tapping till you've got these other like till the feelings of the, like for example for me it was butterflies in my stomach. So when you feel that you've put it at the level you are comfortable with, and to round up the tapping session, then I recommend tapping on something positive. So just tapping on, I'm worthy, I deserve love, I deserve love, I am worthy of love, I deserve love, I am worthy, all this love, I am worthy, I deserve this love, I deserve love, I am worthy of love. I shine with love. And you know, if we are able to love ourselves, and when we love ourselves, we have healthy boundaries, we don't depend on love from other people, then love from other people will be just a bonus, but we won't be actually reliant on that love. And then we won't be blaming the other person if we feel they've done something wrong, because it will all be back to being responsible for ourselves, for our own well-being, for our own healthy boundaries. So thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you during my next video. Bye for now.